Hello, ladies and gents, boys, girls, and everybody watching today's race. It's the UR2D3 finale. Oh my soul, I've made so many mistakes already and it's just started. But ladies and gents, we're here for the season finale where we're going to crown the UR2D3 goodness, you're 2D2 champion. Today we've got Hanandi up against Nuno. That's the main fight we're looking for. Hanandi with 27 points, if I'm correct, of an advantage against Nuno. Nuno needs a miracle today. Hanandi needs a P14. Let's go for the qualifying session, ladies and gents, boys and girls. It's your favorite South African here today. My name is Ewa, and there's no Skip, unfortunately, but it's me in his place doing my first commentary gig for the UL League in UR2D2 as we're underway for qualifying in wet conditions at the season finale in Valencia. We've got Hnandi. And we've got Nuno. It's a title fight between them two LSAs. LSA have secured the Constructors' Championship in a season where their team boss, Levioso the Lion, Lev, is leaving at the end of it. This is the season finale, and this is the chance for Hanandi to claim his first title as we're heading towards the end of the first laps. We have got a 34.22 for Nuno, the man challenging for the title. He's on pole at the moment. Gruff on the front row, level on times with Hanandi. Then you've got Charge JT, you've got Grandi and Anti. I nearly said Hanandi there. You've got Kado P7 ahead of Kubo. Kado and Danimator as we start the second lap, so we're midway through the second laps, heading into what should be or what would have been the third sector in real life. We're on board with Kraft at the moment, but we're going to keep an eye on Nuno because he looks like he's on a flyer. Nuno, the man challenging for the title, it's a 34.08. That's even quicker, but the man next to him is his title rival, the potential champion in the making, Hanandi P2. Anything can happen in the race though, but Qualy is going to play such a huge role in what happens. And we've got LSA 1-2, Kraft still third, Grandi looking fantastic in fourth. Both of those Nordic Thunder machines are looking brilliant. Fourth and sixth with Charge JT in between as we round the final corner for the final lap. Nuno is going to potentially take pole position here, and he's absolutely buttered it. 33.97. Kraft in second with a 34 flat. Charge JT with the Paracaros in second and third. Brilliant stuff from the two of them with Hanandi in fourth. The champion in the making. You've got Kada fifth, Grandi sixth, Corvid up to seventh at the end. Anti-Amazing in eighth. You've got Rozim back for Mayhem in ninth, and Kubo in 10th for Flow Force. Outside the top 10, you've got Kado for Lynx Racing, X6 for Fox and Goose Racing. Oh, goodness, I've messed up my words there to describe Danimator down in 13th. He's usually one of the top contenders in this UL field. Then you've got Matima in 14th for Neon Sunset. Eurus, the experienced veteran from Portugal, in P15 for Lynx Racing. Then you've got Figuera, the newly elected URA member in P16. Jeruni in 17th for Rapid Motorsport Collective, and Rushki rounding off the field also for Rapid Motorsport Collective. It's been an interesting qualifying session, but one man who will be looking for those how many laps scissored, 43 laps to end as soon as possible, is Hanandi. P4 on the grid, and with the title looming, the man who can destroy his hopes of winning a title, winning yet another one, is none other than Nuno, who starts on pole. So it's a perfect position for him. We've got the Paracaros up there. Both drivers showing plenty of potential over the years, or over this season. And yeah, just await the race. It's a rainy start to this one. It's a wet weather start to a 43-lap thriller awaiting for us in Valencia as Nuno gets us underway. We've got Jurist and Rushki on intermediate tyres. Nuno gets us away from Paul Kraft in second, holding on for the time being ahead of Charged 18. Hanandi coming through out of nowhere there at the start. He's gone off the track a little bit. Hanandi losing out so much ground and going off track too. In the process, look at him. He's all the way down in ninth, but Nuno's up in front from Kata. Then you've got Kraft in third, Charged 18 fourth, Corvid up to fifth, head of Rosine, Grandi, and Hanandi down in eighth. It's a poor start for the LSA car, but the top three have stretched away. Cat has looked quick all week. Kraft has looked solid today so far. First, second, third, Nuno, Caddo, Kraft. You've got Hanandi sending it down the inside of so many drivers at once there. Corvid allowed to break away a little bit in P4. Then you've got Caddo and Caddo side by side as the clouds are about to come out here at Valencia. You've got Kuba up to 7th. Great start from him. You've got Rozim in 8th. Matimar well up the field. Great start from him into P9. But at the end of the second lap, it's still Nuno in front. It's Nuno Central as per usual. Hanandi calls for slip. He calls for people to slipstream him as it's lap 3 of 43. Kada and Kraft staying
Oh my god!
Oh goodness, we've had some reactions there in VC as Hanandi goes down to 5th behind Corvid after taking 4th briefly. Kubo, the other flow force, in 6th place. You've got Caddo in 7th. Top 3 continue to stretch away. Corvid sends it down the inside of Hanandi and Kubo roll on both their tails. Caddo now in the mix. You've got 2 groups here pulling out in front. Then you've got the 8th place group. Anti taking Rozim, who's gone a bit off track. Mati squeezing past there aggressively into P9. P10 is Rozim. Jiruni in 11th. Charged 80 all the way down to 13th. Side by side with Figuera. He takes 12th now. X6 coming into the mix. Grandy's also dropped quite a bit back. He's been forced off the track, and now at the end of lap 4 we're keeping an eye on Nuno. Is there some action further back? Nandi I think was the one who went off there. Cooper all of a sudden in 4th. Or maybe it was Corvid who went off because he's down to 7th and at the back of the second group. But so far so good for the championship leader. And he's off the track, and the 2 flow forces are getting always tight. Switchbacks there everywhere you look. Corvid back up to 4th ahead of Kuba and Kada. Corvid making a bit of a mistake, and Hanandi sending it down the inside of him into P6 he goes, and Corvid down to 7th here as Kada is in front of this group, and now he's come in. He and Hanandi have come in for dry tires as the track has been drying out. Soft tires for Hanandi. Then you've got hards for Caddo, so Hanandi will probably be let through very quickly. They're down to 13th and 14th as Mati, Figuera, X6, Grandi and Danimator have all come into the pits too. The track has now dried out, and Hanandi's already on the tail of Charged JT. Sends it down his inside, and through he goes, and past Eurus he also goes. Eurus lets him through as the top 3 come in. Nuno, Kraft, Kada, all in. Those 3 looking set for potential podiums. JT losing time in the background and getting swallowed up by the pack of soft tire runners. He comes into the pits. Top 3 all on soft tires. Hanandi into 4th. Anti into 5th. Where has he come from? 6th place there for Kubo. 7th, Kato. Then you've got Corvid, Kato. It's a bit laggy on my own screen. But Kato and Kubo nearly side by side. This has worked out perfectly for Anti-Amazing in the Nordic Thunder, as their Corvid says, let me through Kubo, and Kubo was forced to let him through. The Australian looking to move back up the field on his soft tyres as Hanandi sets the fastest lap of the race. It's a 32.84. The Hungarian in P4 doing what he needs to do to win this title. Lap 8, the laps are flying by as Anti I think made a bit of an error there. Corvid now into P4. Now this Gruppetto, P5, sorry, for Corvid. Anti's down to 8th behind Kato and behind Kubo. The top 3 still staying in formation. Nuno leading Kato and Kraft forwards here. Hanandi trying to bridge over the gap. He's, I think, set a 33 flat, 32.9 there for Nuno, for Kato, and a 33.1 for Kraft. is lap 9 of 43. Corvid leading this next pack behind Hanandi, who stretched away from them, as it's Kuba right behind him. The two flow forces doing a fantastic job so far, although Corvid, knowing himself, is probably not too pleased with what's been happening in his race so far, as they aim to close in on the Hungarian champion or potential champion up ahead of them. Nuno doing all he needs to do though at this present moment. You've got Cado and Anti side by side. Cado decides to let Anti through. They've lost the slipstream of those two flow forces now, so they formed their own little group. The flow forces have now formed their own little group ahead of them, and we're going to take a look through the field quickly. It is Nuno in front, Kader, Kraf, you've got Hanandi in fourth, pulling away. Matti calls for slipstream. We're going to get to him very shortly. Corvid fifth ahead of Kubo, who's following his teammate. Then you've got the anti-amazing us up ahead. We've got some action. Kader was almost overtaken there by Kraf for position. As Anti also calls for slipstream now, but behind Kader and Anti, you've got Figuera in ninth. He's had a solid start after what was a less than ideal qualifying session for him. He's ahead of his Neon Sunset teammate Matima in 10th. Then you've got Danimator, who was one of the first ones to come in for dry tires in 11th, ahead of X6. Chiruni up from 17th to 13th. Grandy down from 6th, I think, to 14th, but he's back up to 13th after Chiruni's little mistake. And I think up ahead, Nuno has dropped the two behind him. So it's Nuno Central here, and when he does that, you know that a victory's on the way. But Grandy's into the pits. Rushki has now taken 14th from him. Charge JT has not had an ideal start. The usually fast Brit is down in 15th. Rozim also not having the greatest of getaways. He started very well too, but I think he's been caught up in the traffic as JT gets past Rushki and Rozim looks to make his way through too. At the back it's Urist down in 17th and Grandy in 18th, but back in the front, Kader and Kraf are still there with Nuno, who's made a bit of an error, slowed down Kader in the process. Kraf has the fastest lap of the race, by the way. It's a 32.68. So into the pits, more drivers have come in, and that includes this man over here, Hanandi, in P8 now, behind Kato, who's actually dropped quite a bit there behind the anti-amazing, and Hanandi aggressively forces his way back into P7 ahead of him. Then, who else has been into the pits? Grandy and Giruni have both come in. Grandy on the hards, Giruni on the soft tires. Up in front, the top three continue to stay out. Oh, there's action further back! I think Figuera and Danimator went off track a little bit. They're both into the pits. X6 and Charge JT also into the pits. Now, the soft tires are going to start wearing out for some of those, and that's exactly why I think Kuba has been let through on Corvid, who's skidding all over the circuit at the present moment. You can see the grip is clearly gone from their flow force as the top three all come in. Will they still be the top three? Nuno, Kader, Kraf, and Kubo is going to be a part of them. Kubo, where's he going to be? He's going to be in second place in this little race here, but he's probably going to need to let all three of them through. Okay, there's Kader through, there's Kraf through, and Kubo in the slipstream. How long can he keep up there? He's going to keep up longer than he expects, because Kader's made two big mistakes to drop behind Kraf. And now, these guys have lost the toe of Nuno. Anti has been overtaken here by Hanandi in P5, and now can follow him towards Kuba. So that's worked out well, a little bit well there for the Finn. I'm losing my nationalities. My sense of nationalities here is Kader, who clearly feels like he's got the pace, has asked Kraf, step aside, let me go through. And now Kader's in P2 and chases after none other than Nuno. Kader's looked pretty quick this week, of course, as Hanandi now overtakes Kubo. But crucially for Anti, he's now on Kubo's tail, so he's got the slipstream of both cars up ahead. So, someone's out. X6 has left the game. X6 is our first DNF of the season finale, so his season has been cut short. Meanwhile, this battle for P2 might actually have a new contender coming soon. Nuno's got the fastest lap. It's a 32.68. That is 3/10 quicker than Kader behind him, and almost 3/10 quicker than Hanandi, who is closing in on that duo up ahead, or at least closing in on Kraf up ahead. After now, Kraf continues following Kader, and Anti has actually overtaken Kubo for P5 and has dropped him very quickly. Now the question is, what are these guys going to do with the strategy? Kubo has opted to come in for the undercut on the Finn. Going to look at some further battles further back. Kubo comes in for softs as the clouds come out. He's going to be well behind Corvid, but well ahead of this long train of cars. Would you look at that? It's Kato. It's Jaruni who sends it down the inside of his former teammate who's been bumped off the track. As there goes Grandy and there goes Danimator. And Rozim nearly sniffed blood too, but he's dropping further back because he's got older tires than all of those ahead of him and older tires than Figuera behind him. Figuera is going to probably take that P12. Rozim, let's see what he does with his own strategy. But Kubo's on fresh softs, looking to do something different to Anti. I'm not 100% sure of how the strategies work here for this specific track, but Rozim's come into the pits. Anti's going to be susceptible to potentially dropping down to P7, but if he's not careful, Danimator and Co could come towards him. Danimator's broken a little bit away from Kada and Jaruni, so he's made that overtake stick. But we're almost halfway into the race, lap 20 of 43. Nuno still out in front, Kada 3/10 behind him. Same with Kraft, just keeping in his tail as he's been doing for most of the race. Hanandi is now starting to lose out. He's got a lap older tires than both of them. And then you've got Corvid in P5, Anti staying out still. He's dropped behind Corvid and he's now going to drop into the clutches of Kubo, who went for the undercut on Anti as well. So is Anti potentially thinking of hards to the end? Hards and hards in these next two stints. As into the pits comes Hanandi from P4. He's gone onto the hard tires, so he could be the one thinking of doing hards until the end. He's going to emerge. Kubo is going to jump him. Brilliant undercut there from Kubo, but they're of course on different strategies, so it's not like it matters too much in the grand scheme of things. The other guys who've come in, it's Jaruni, it's Anti-Amazing, who's down to 9th, so he is behind Kado and behind just ahead of Danimator, who dropped behind Kado too. Oh, my game's lagged a little bit there, but let's take a look at this man over here, Nuno. He's been fantastic all race long, and as I said earlier on, when Nuno hits the front, there's no catching him. There is next to no catching him. But Kata and Kraft are making a great race out of this, or at least for P2, and potentially capitalizing on any mistakes that Nuno makes. But they may have to watch out for both Hanandi and Kubo in P5 and P6 as they're getting closer and closer. Race leader boxes, is he fitting on softs or hards? He's going on to another set of softs. The two behind him also box 4 soft tires, so they're all thinking along the same lines, and Corvid is going to take P2, but he's due in for a stop very shortly. Wonder if he's thinking of going hards and hards until the end. 2 sets of hards, 10 laps each potentially, as he loses ground to the two of them ahead of him very quickly. Hanandi's now on his tail, and so is Kubo. Kubo being dragged forward here by the Hungarian, who's now going to overtake Corvid for P4, and Kubo is going to want to get past his teammate very quickly, but he's forced to stay back for now. He's forced to stay back, and Corvid now boxes after skidding in that final corner. Where will he emerge? Because I think Anti is dragging Kado forwards, and Anti may rejoin just ahead of Corvid, and so does Kado. Corvid, the first man in this race to use the medium tires. Interesting call there from Corv. We've got the two flow forces battling here. Neon Sunsets battling. You can tell this is my first gig as a commentator. The nerves have been kicking in, just like they'll be kicking in for Hanandi as the laps tick down. 18 more laps to go. Nuno out in front doing what he needs to do. Hanandi in 4th doing what he needs to do after what was a bit of a shaky start. He was down to P8, caught up in the traffic, but has since moved his way up the field very well and is dragging Kubo with him. Kubo on slightly worn tires has made a bit of an error there, so he's dropped out of the slipstream and he should be due in for a stop very, very shortly. So, we're going to take another look at this field as Kubo does come in. It's Nuno, it's Kata, it's Kraft, it's Hanandi, it is Anti who's going to take P5 with Corvid behind him. The question is, will Anti allow for Corvid to switch with him? Because Corvid looks like he's got the pace. Yes, he does. It's as if he listened to me in the commentary box. Kubo behind the two of them in P7 now, and Kado in P8, making those hard tires go as far as he can before potentially going on to maybe a set of softs, maybe a set set of odds? We'll find out in due time. The two Mayhems, the two brothers battling here for P10. And Rozim actually tagging behind Danny. It's not been the ideal race for Mayhem, as up ahead you've got Corvid and Kubo side by side. Anti letting Kubo through. Kubo forced to stay behind Corvid, trying to look for a way through very quickly while his softs are still fresh as butter, fresh as rubber. I don't know what better comparisons you could make for that, but Kubo does make his way through. He needed to force his way through though, and that's going to cost both flow forces time as they're side by side. They are side by side. Corvid holds on for the time being in P5 though. Anti just watching in the background. I think he's almost lost the slipstream there. Or has he? I think he has. Kubo now does get Corvid on his screen. I don't know about whether it's the same on Corvid's screen. They both make the same mistake into that little corner, that left hand, and they make the same mistake again. The flow forces are costing each other. And Anti Amazing has gone and swept his way through like a broom into P5. Corvid back. I think there's going to be some frustration between the two of them, because on one hand Corvid has the pace, on another hand Kubo has the pace and the tires, so they have to work this out quickly. And Corvid looking for a way back past Anti. Anti slows down on the straight and slows Kubo down in the process. Kubo will not be happy whatsoever. He's still in P7, those soft tires wearing from underneath him. And those two Mayhems are now up to 8th and 9th. Grandy back into 10th. Yeah, Figo in 11th ahead of Caddo. This battle for 4th is actually pretty interesting, but another battle that's going to be very interesting here is the battle for 2nd, as Kraft does come into the pits for soft tires, fresh soft tires. And I think he may be looking to go to about lap 36. Because he's boxed now on lap 29, so he could be looking at the potential 7-lap stints on those soft tires, and that's very doable for him. Caddo calls for slipstream. Nuno, what's he going to do? He's going to come in on lap 30 of 43. Then Caddo, is he going to respond to Kraft? Yes, he is, but will Kraft have executed the undercuts? Let's see. As they come out the pits, Nuno is going to lead an LSA 1-2, but Hanandi is due into the pits very shortly. Then you've got Kraft, who's made quite the undercut there on Caddo. Whether he can sustain this pace, though, is another thing, because Caddo has proven to be fast, but so far in this race, so has Kraft. They're going to close in on Hanandi, and the sooner Kraft closes in on him, the better, because Caddo is already flying on this outlap. I love the lines that he's taking. The two flow forces are still battling with one another here for P5, and Corvid is just about holding on from Kubo. I think Kubo's decided to, you know what, stick behind him. Hanandi in 4 hard tires until the end, and he's going to be behind both flow forces, which is probably not ideal if he wants to hold on or like challenge for the podium. But his target's not the podium, his target is the championship. And Kubo lets him through for P5. And now will Corvid do the same for P4? We'll find out in due time. Hanandi looking for ways through because he does not want to be slowed down, because his battle is with Caddo, who's overtaken Kraft and Kraft. So Hanandi is through on both flow forces. Kubo into the pits. Where's Anti going to be compared to Kubo? And is Kubo going on softs or is he going on hards? We're going to find out. He's gone onto the hard tires. So now Kubo is going to be close with Anti. Anti gets him for P6. But what will Anti do? Will he let Kubo stay behind him, or will he let Kubo ahead of him? Because of course he's got a lap older tires. English has defeated me today, but we continue on our merry way. Behind them there's a nice little pack here between Grandy and Caddo. Grandy on older tires and Caddo. You've got Danimator, Matima, and you've got JT. Dodge JT down in 12, Grandy into the pits, and also into the pits it's Corvid onto another set of medium tires. So he dragged those ones 9 laps, he's going 10 laps on these ones, and he's got 2 hard tires up, or 2 hard tire runners up ahead of him. Oh, bit of chaos going on here in midfield as Danny holds on to P8, P9 is Caddo, P10 is Mati as the clouds come back out, P11 is JT, and Kubo has let Corvid through. Now, Anti's made a mistake in that final corner. So, there goes Corvid through on him. And Anti says, no, Kubo, not today. You're going to stay behind me as I try and keep up with Corvid. Kubo decides, nope, nope, nope. I'm looking for a way through. ASAP. Let me through, Anti. That's oh, Kubo. It's been a bit of a frustrating race behind these guys, I can imagine. But in the meantime, I forgot to say, Kata has got the fastest lap at 32.5. He's still in second ahead of Kraft, and I think the tyre advantage is going to be coming to him very shortly. Even though it's just one lap can make all the difference. But Hanandi in P4 trying to put himself in a position where, you know, he can even though he's got the championship under wraps with about 7 laps to go, maybe he can challenge for P2. Further back, JT is now in 9th behind Danny. As into the pits does come Kraft for his final stop, the undercut. It is for Kraft, as he's going to be just ahead of Hanandi for P3. So, Kraft now continues, and now he can try and undercut Kada. Yeah, so Kada needs a solid in lap. Oh, and he's made a bit of a mistake there. Although that's probably just lag on my screen that's doing the talking, as Nuno is coming in for his final stop on lap 37 of 43. It's going to be yet another win, most likely, for the Portuguese ace. But as to it being another championship, unfortunately, it looks like it may just have slipped out of his grasp because of this fantastic job that this man from Hungary has done. But you know what? For a man like Nuno does not go down without a fight. So, expect him to be back and readier than ever to take back the crown next season. Hanandi's got a few more laps though, a few more corners times 5 because we've got about 5 laps left. Corvid still holding on, but whether his tyres will hold on compared to Kubo's and compared to Anti's is another question. 9 laps on those mediums should be very doable though. But are we gonna see some action between the flow forces at the end? Because they've dropped Anti. I think they have dropped Anti over here for position. So this battle continues. Behind them, the clouds come out yet again after the sun came out. Grandi holding on to P8. Figueira in P9. His tires will be fresher by the end, as there you've got Kubo making a mistake, so Anti has re-overtaken him. Now Figo trying to look for a way past Grandi. The Neon Sunsets both in the top 10. Matti on freshish softs. Danny on even fresher softs, undercut there by Matti as Figueira overtakes Grandi for P8, and Grandi will just look to hold on here from Matimar. But Matimar is not one to shy away from a battle as the rain is about to hit the Valencia circuit, the Ricardo Tormo circuit. Wet tires for everybody, wet tires for you. Wet tires for you and enters for you, Matimar. As he comes out in P9, he's trying to gamble on the track drying out towards the end here. As their Grandi skids all over the track. Nuno in front, Kada second, Kraft third, Hanandi on intermediate tires. Then you've got Corvid into the pits. Maybe that call from Hanandi was an expert call, because he having fit on inters, as we will probably benefit from the track drying out towards the end. Same with Kubo and same with Anti. Grandi staying out here on those medium tires though. That's an interesting call from Grandi. He's banking on the track to dry out, but whether his forever aging tires will hold on for him is another question. He's skidding all over the circuit here in P8. Matti in P9. I think he's just pulled off a blinder in that position on those inters. Then you've got Figo. We're going to keep an eye on Figo as he sends it on his Neon Sunset teammate Grandi, holding them both up. Matti back through on Figueira, and Danny getting slowed down a little bit. JT and Giruni, it's getting all packed up here on lap 42 for the race leader. He's coming on to his final lap very shortly. Giruni ahead of Grandi, and Charge JT trying to move ahead of Grandi too, but getting held up. Grandi skids off the track. Giruni goes through anyway. Now Nuno on his final lap. You've got the second place battle between Kraft and Kada. We're going to keep an eye on this one. The wet tires are going to start getting worse and worse for use because the track is drying out. But this man over here has only got a few corners left. This would have been the end of Sector 1 and he's negotiated it. Nuno, only a few corners left until he wins today's race. Nuno, now round the final corner, is going to take his umpteenth victory here in UL. Kraft! And Ricardo's made a mistake and has held off Kraft regardless to hold on to a fantastic P2. Kraft P3, but your champion, ladies and gents, boys and girls. The boy from Hungary is your champion today. Hanandi, take a bow. Alice say wrapping up both titles, and Hanandi, your driver's champion for the first time. He's come close before, but today it is his day. Corbett 5th, Kubo 6th, Anti 7th, Mati holding on to 8th here, pulling away actually from Figuera. Danny in the top 10, he won't be pleased with that. 11th, Joe, JT, just ahead of Jiruni, Rosine, Kadzo down to 14th at the end. Grandy's gamble not working out for him in 15th. Rushki almost catching him actually in 16th, 17th Eurist. And in last, well, having DNF'd, it is X6. But what a race and what a title for Hanandi. It's come close on a few occasions. Definitely come close. This season he locked in from the first race in a chaotic German race. Made the right calls and took the victory, and that set the tone up for his season. It's a bit of a shame for Nuno because he missed out in Finland and in the previous race at Le Mans, or at the Bugatti Le Mans circuit. But regardless, it's a deserved championship for Hanandi. He's done what he needed to do. Very mistake-free over the course of the season, and for the first time in his career, he can say, "I'm a champion." Fantastic stuff. Describe to us how it feels.
Well, it's been quite a long journey. I started in 2021, so it's already 2024. The time flies really fast, and yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I'd like to thank everybody who supported me, my teammates, fans, sometimes maybe even my rivals. It was amazing. Thank you, everybody.
Fantastic, and congratulations on the championship. But can you also describe to us that race? Because the first lap looked quite chaotic, but from there you soldiered through the field. So can you describe to us how it was from your point of view?
Yeah, the first lap was a disaster, but I would still be really happy with my starts this season. I got, out of the 10 races, 8 really good starts. So it happens twice out of 10 times. I fell all the way back to P10 and had to come back a lot, and I was in P4 for most of the race. That call on the inters could have worked if the track dries out quicker, because Kader and Kraft had the wets, but they absolutely deserved the podium, and well done to them. And also to Nuno, what a win.
Yeah, you and Nuno have, of course, been you've been rapid over recent seasons, and of course the pace difference between the two of you has come down. But today it's you who triumphs in the championship. So can you describe to us how it feels winning against a multiple-time champion?
I mean, I will not be saying that I beat him in a fair fight, because I obviously didn't. It still feels amazing, but I wouldn't say I am on that level yet, where I could beat Nuno with equal attendance. I am getting there, but still it's amazing.
Yeah, Hanandi, thank you very much for the interview, and absolutely fantastic
you.
championship. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Now,